Izabella Ritz with Amazon Made Simple Podcast. И сегодня, как я и обещала, мы делаем потрясающий выпуск с Vince Montero из Helium10. И в конце видео не забудьте обязательно подписаться на наш канал, поставить лайк, все как обычно, а также напоминаю, что под этим видео вы найдете ссылку на регистрацию на Helium10 Summit, который пройдет в сентябре с 20 по 22 2022, где I am speaking, и также будет безумное количество разной интересной информации, и, безусловно, вы все получите не только знания, но и куча fun stuff, начиная от йоги, зумбы и заканчивая всякими дринками и интересными коктейлями. Итак, поехали! Hello everyone, and Izabella Ritz with Amazon Made Simple Podcast. Here we are again, and I have a very special guest who is the guru and the high-level expert of PPC campaigns. And he is the senior manager of PPC and Atomic feature at Helium10. And as you know, I'm a pretty big fan of Helium10, and genuinely speaking, when you're watching any of my videos with like educational information there, how to find the product, how to rank the products, all of them are based on Helium10. So Vince, welcome. I am happy to have you here. Vince Montero is one of the cutest guys I ever met. And we're following the rule, like play hard, work hard, play harder. This is what we do when we meet each other. So welcome to my show.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that wonderful introduction.
Well, always welcome. So, Vince, I will jump straight to the topic. Of course, we all want to know a lot of things about you, but at the same time, we're chasing the goal how to rank our products on a page one using Helium10. A lot of people, they don't understand how to rank the product, and they only know the thing that Helium10 can help you to do that. And the new feature, like kind of new-ish, I think Atomic been released probably like a year or something ago.
Yeah, 1 year, just over a year ago.
Just a little bit over a year ago. And a lot of people are actually very happy saying that, yeah, Atomic is helping to do the very crazy stuff. So please tell us how we can make our sales better using Atomic tool.
So, for everyone that is selling on Amazon, especially if you have a brand new product, that PPC is just something that you should be doing, especially because you don't have any visibility yet. You don't have any exposure. So if you want to brand your campaign right away without having to struggle for organic rankings, then PPC is one way that you can make sure that your product is seen. And that it also helps your organic ranking. So we do see oftentimes that people that want to rank organically for specific keywords can just target those for PPC. And as soon as Amazon does see that you do have good conversions for that keyword on PPC, it also helps you with your organic rankings for those same keywords. So it's really kind of I don't want to say a necessary evil for Amazon, but it kind of is. A lot of people feel like it's a pay to play kind of situation now. I prefer to look at it as it's your marketing budget. If you have a brand new product, you should maybe, if it was a store, you would have an ad at a local newspaper or maybe a billboard or something like that. You'd want to advertise to get people to your store. So that's what PPC is. It's really just advertising to get people to your store, which is your product listing. Or if you have an actual store on Amazon, obviously, then it helps direct there as well. So it's one of those things where maybe it wasn't necessary a few years ago. If you have a super niche product still, maybe you don't need it. Most people need PPC to make sure that they get that exposure initially. And that's what we help sellers do with multiple Helium10 tools. But my tool specifically is to help with that PPC.
I completely agree. When people are coming to us and they're saying, okay, so what about giveaways? I'm like, guys, giveaways are in the past. So we've been doing giveaways probably till 2017.
Oh, wow.
And then generally speaking, it's like this approach is dead for now.
Yeah.
So everything you can do is PPC and external traffic, of course. However, you have to be very, very patient when you're running your PPC campaigns. And as I'm saying all the time, we're not doing magic, but we know some tricks, which you are going to share with us right now. So what is the step number one when we're doing the when we're creating the PPC via Helium10? Should we, should we start just with the creating campaign, or should we go through to Adtomic?
We have a lot of sellers that come to us with existing campaigns already. So if that's the case, we have the ability to create rules around those existing campaigns that they have. And once rules are created in Adtomic, it basically tells Adtomic what to do with search terms that are converting for you, maybe that you want to target manually, or search terms that are not performing for you that maybe you want to make negative. And that's kind of the two biggest parts of optimizing PPC is cut out waste and find and amplify stuff that's good, right? That's really all PPC is.
Yeah.
So you have campaigns already. You can come to Adtomic. You create some rules about that. We have videos that feature me, and I show you how to create the rules. If you're brand new and don't have any campaigns yet, Adtomic is great for those people because we have these templates where we build out at a bare minimum, we build 4 campaigns for you. That's our minimum recommendation for PPC when you're launching. And once those 4 campaigns are built, then the rules are also custom built in there too, so that it's kind of looped in with that process, that the rules will also be ingrained into the campaign sets that you create in Adtomic. And then once that's in there, again, Adtomic does the job of looking for the search terms that are not doing good and suggesting that you make them negative, and also finding stuff that is working from a search term perspective and saying, hey, this is a search term that you should probably target as a keyword, and it will tell you which campaign to add that keyword into. So it takes a lot of the research. Anyone who's had to deal with search term reports knows that it can be a lot. You have to download the report. I think you only get a month at a time. I haven't been in search term reports in a long time. But, if you want history, you got to save those reports, and you have to build a custom pivot table, maybe Excel spreadsheets or maybe Google Sheets. Whereas in Adtomic, it's just all there. All your search terms are there. If you want to do things manually too, which some people like full control. The beauty of Adtomic is you could either do things manually and we still make it a lot quicker, or you can use our rules and algorithms to help you with the optimizations.
And to my understanding, all these search terms we can save for like forever and ever. We can go back to 24 months and we can see what was happening.
Yeah, that's another feature that I missed. Yeah, we save up to 2 years worth of data. So depending on how long you're with Adtomic, you can look back at last year. Like if you have the same product this Christmas that you sold last Christmas, you can go back and say, how did I do? What keywords did I do really good on?
What did I do last year? Why it's not working this year? Let me see the keys of the success.
Yes, or the opposite. How do I make it better this year? So, and as you know, in Amazon, in the ads console, the maximum you can go back, I believe, is 65 days. So the ability to see data from, the beginning of the year or last year or 2 years ago even is another benefit of Adtomic.
So I remember when I'm going to Adtomic, I believe I have the options to use the ranking campaign, the liquidation, I believe, campaign, and what's the third one?
There's three bid algorithms that are custom to Adtomic in the campaign builder as well, but you can also add them to the rules. It's launch, right? And that's our impression-based bid algorithm. So it basically tells Adtomic, hey, amplify keywords that have a lot of impressions. Because when you're in launch phase, that first 2 weeks to a month, really you're just collecting data. You want to get as many impressions as possible because that means you're going to get a lot of data. Then once you have that data set, then you can look at it and say, oh, this is working, this is not working. Or Adtomic will do that, and then it'll start trimming things down. So, and then the next phase after that is called scale. And that's the one where we target an ACoS, where you actually can, with the data, you can see, oh, this is what my expected ACoS might be. Be realistic with your ACoS goals. Put that into Adtomic. That's also scale, and then liquidate. So if you have a product, let's say, for example, you've been selling for a while and it's just not selling. It's not moving. It's just sitting in FBA. you can create some campaigns to say, hey, bid algorithm is liquidate, which means I'm just going to focus on keywords that are making sales regardless of ACOS. It doesn't matter what the ACOS is. This keyword,
I just want to put it out of the product. Yeah.
You just want to get rid of it. Or maybe you have a product version 2.0, right? You have version 1 and then you have your new product coming. So, you want to get rid of that first version because your new version's coming. That's a great bid algorithm to use within our tool.
Do you think to use liquidation algorithm to rank the product is a good idea or a bad idea?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a strategy that you could definitely use because, again, the liquidate strategy just focuses on orders, right? So regardless of ACOS, it'll just find the keywords that are making sales and it'll just amplify those. So yeah, the difference is that you are basically letting Adtomic find those keywords for you to then rank for versus you just creating like maybe a ranking campaign. So what I would suggest for that strategy is actually create a ranking campaign, like specific keywords you want to rank for, and then use liquidate, and then it will amplify those based on the orders for those ranking keywords. But that's an interesting strategy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to find the way how to do stuff.
Yeah.
So when we're creating the ranking campaign, where we have to focus on and where to start, how to think, how to pick the right keywords if let's say it's my first product.
Sure. Well, we have wonderful, tools at Helium10 that are great for keyword research.
No way.
Cerebro, yeah, Magnet. So, I always say this: do your keyword research, use tools, but also leverage Amazon. Look at, put in the keywords that you think are relevant to your product, and then see what Amazon is suggesting, right? In the drop down, because it always gives you different keywords. Make sure that you're doing that. Pull that information out of Amazon itself because it's showing you similar versions of your keyword that you think is relevant based on what people are actually typing in. So there's lots of different ways to do keyword research. So I won't go too deep into that, but you definitely should do keyword research and make sure when you're setting up your listing that some of those keywords are integrated into your listing. That's going to help with your PPC, right? And then the only thing I will say about that is, even if you research keywords and you think, oh, this is the perfect keyword, sometimes it doesn't work. So as much research as you do, you also have to not be married to that keyword. You have to be able to let keywords go sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. So sometimes you're trying to break your head against the wall, thinking no, this is my actual keyword. I have to make it happen. But genuinely speaking, to have some sales from this keyword, your product's supposed to perform maybe at least 20, 25 reviews. And if you're at 0, you have to choose different keywords.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good or bad idea to, again, using the Cerebro tool to find the keywords that our competitors are advertising for?
Yeah, absolutely.
And use their keywords and create the campaigns based on their keywords.
Yeah, actually, so I don't know when this is airing, but I have a PPC course coming out in next month, and it's also featuring Mina Elias. And we go through that process of how to look at or use Cerebro. So the basic is that you should have at least 5 to 10 ASINs that you consider to be competitors, but you have to make sure same product, similar price point, right? It has to be very relevant to your product. So looking at between 5 and 10 ASINs and using Cerebro to figure out how many keywords are shared by these different detail pages, these different ASINs, and what are they ranking for these particular keywords. So that's definitely a great way to get to drill down into refining your keyword list as well.
Do you have any trick, for example, when we're doing the listing analyzer with exactly from the Amazon, so we're going straight to the listing analyzer and we see the top performing keywords for this specific product. Mm-hmm. And if we see we're looking at the 5 ASINs and we're finding out 10 performing keywords, mm-hmm. but we don't see those keywords are being advertised for these specific products and the PPC. Mm-hmm. So I understand it's probably a very tricky and hard question. However, should we take those keywords and put it inside of the Adtomic and start to advertise them, or we should be based on the keywords that the product's actually advertising and not being ranked? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah. So the answer I always fall back on the same kind of answer to these types of questions is just follow the data, right? So if you see that particular keywords are working, for example, that you never would have thought are working, yeah, definitely target them. The beauty of Adtomic is it does that for you automatically, right? You can also manually look through your search terms and find things that are converting and be like, oh, wow, I didn't think that this particular search term would convert for my product. I do think, though, that best practice is to look at those keywords, and as long as there's at least 2 sales. So what I recommend is always, when you're doing keyword promotion or keyword harvesting, some people call it, make sure that search term has at least 2 sales, because sometimes you'd have 1 sale on a keyword or search term, and it's random, it's close to your product, but maybe not exactly your product. That might just be a fluke sale, right? Somebody typed in that search term, they went a couple different areas, and then they found your product. So the likelihood of another person doing the same thing is kind of low. So just make sure that for those keywords that are maybe, kind of long tail or maybe not really similar to your product, if there's at least 2 sales, then I would say then you're safer to maybe you target that type of keyword directly.
I agree. Have you been, it will be one of the last questions.
Sure.
Have you been in the situations when your clients, subscribers, people, Amazonians, they've been targeting and they've been doing PPC only based on the ASINs? So they've been targeting the products only, and they've never been targeting the keywords. So, and they're getting a pretty good revenue, but their ASIN is not really ranked for the organic keywords.
Right.
Have you seen this type of situation? And if you do you think it's a good way to go about the sales or not?
No. I mean, there's lots of different strategies out there. Like, for example, I know some people that never do auto campaigns, for example. I know some strategies where they do 4 auto campaigns, each for the different targeting levers. Like, there's all kinds of things you could do, but I've never heard only targeting ASINs ever, right? That even takes out sponsor brand video, though, which sponsor brand campaigns can be very, very powerful. And those are keyword based, though. So no, I wouldn't recommend only ever targeting ASINs.
I just got a customer who came to us. He said, look, I have 5% ACOS and I'm targeting only products. However, like his indexing is like pretty bad because, if you're like targeting based on the ASINs only, it's nothing really to index to, and like
there's nothing to rank. That's
correct. Yeah, that was interesting situation. I'm like, well, so of course we started analytics, and I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think about it?
Yeah, at a bare minimum, I always suggest people do an auto campaign, because at the very least that shows you how Amazon is looking at your product, right? And just monitoring it. Like, you have to know this person probably is very tight with their budget. When you're doing PPC, you have to know, especially at the beginning, you need to have a budget set aside, right? You need to have budget money to test. PPC at the beginning is all about testing. So figure out what your average CPCs might be based on the keywords that you think that might be most relevant for your product. You should budget how at least $30 a day to keep your campaign on. If you see your campaigns going off, obviously you need to increase that budget. So you have to have money set aside. I do see scenarios where people are very tight with their budget, and then it ends up shooting them in the foot because their campaigns get turned off either too early during the day, so they don't really have the last half of the day's data, or they're moving budgets around too soon and they haven't let the campaigns mature. So I definitely think that if they've got a 5% ACOS just on targeting ASINs, then that's a good scenario for finding those ASINs that they're doing the best on and using Cerebro to cross-reference. Hey, what are the keywords that these same ASINs are also doing well on? And I have to imagine that you're only gonna, the ACOS might go to 10%, but that's still good, right?
Yeah.
Apologies.
That's right.
That's usually on silent. And my laptop.
And now it's everywhere. This is how Apple got you. So it's like, well, you don't want to pick up here. You have to stand up and pick up there. Thank you for the answers. One more question. You mentioned the videos. So how Adtomic is helping to manage the video campaigns?
Yeah. So just like any campaign in Seller Central that you see in Seller Central, you can see in Adtomic. So sponsor brand campaigns, sponsor display campaigns. You will get keyword bid suggestions from Adtomic to increase, decrease based on an ACOS target, or based on the algorithms that we talked about, either impressions or sales. And also new keywords and negative keywords. As long as you have those campaigns in a rule set, and a rule simply means a series of campaigns with the same product in it, and you're just telling Adtomic, hey, look at all the search terms and this auto campaign, this exact match campaign, this sponsor brand video campaign, this sponsor brand headline campaign. You're just telling Adtomic, look at all the search terms, right? And then tell me what's not working across all of them. Because if a search term isn't working in one campaign, generally speaking, it's not going to work in your other campaigns too, if it's the same product. So it does all that research for you. It doesn't matter the campaign type. And same thing with good keywords. It looks at all the search terms, doesn't matter the campaign type, and ASINs. So if there's ASINs in the auto campaign that are good, it also will pull out from the sponsor products, product targeting campaign, sponsor brand, product targeting campaign, sponsor display, product targeting campaign, all the ASIN-based campaigns too. It'll look at those and it'll say, hey, these ASINs, not good, make negative. These ASINs, these are good. Let's make sure that they're in all the other campaigns. Yeah. That's a rule. But that saves, I can't, depending on how many campaigns an account has, that can save you like hundreds of hours of time versus doing that manually.
Yeah, I agree. And the last question, like I promised, is the very last question. You touched a little bit the budget. And a lot of people, again, when they're starting to advertise their product, they're asking, how much should I spend and how much money should I have? Yeah. And of course, the myth is like, oh, Amazon is eating all my budget and blah, blah, blah. So you know all this. However, what would you recommend? What budget would you recommend for people to start with? So per day, per month? And should they increase the budget in the future, or like what they're supposed to do with this budget?
Yeah, so Amazon's done a really good job, I think, recently of highlighting budgets better. They have a budgets tab now at the top next to the targets tab, which was also semi-new, and that'll show you just kind of an overview of how your budgets were doing over a certain amount of time. If you were out of budget, you can see that right then and there. You can also create budget rules per campaign. You have to go into the campaign and create, rules around performance, or if it runs out, increase the budgets. So there's ways of controlling it. As far as setting aside a budget ahead of time, that's really an individual seller's numbers, because it depends. What's their margin?
Well, let's say the product costs $39.99 and the margin is 30% from the retail price.
Right. So in that case, that's pretty good margin. That's pretty healthy margin. So that person should be able to afford to set more budget aside, right, than a person that has 10% margin, right?
Yeah. So with 10%, you shouldn't start your Amazon at all.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but margins are important. The people that have the highest the best margins actually can do more PPC more effectively, because they actually have the budget to test, right? So if you don't have really good margins, then that means you need to have money set aside to test. And there's no hard and fast rule for how much you should set aside. I really feel like, again, if you do your keyword research and you can look at, you use our tools, look at the CPCs for like maybe keywords you want to rank for, right? Average out the CPCs for those particular keywords. That's going to tell you how much on average you're going to pay per click, right? And then, kind of estimate from there, in order for me to be on all day, how much should I budget? I'm pretty sure, and this might be different, Amazon, I think they changed their recommendation based on the product, but typically it says, $30 a day to stay on all day. Yeah. So if you want to just go by whatever the Amazon's, 30 times, 30 days, which is, and again, the minimum recommendation I give for testing campaigns is 30 days, right? Because you've got attribution windows and you got, different things that are happening. So, but for me, it's all about, at the very least, making sure that you're just staying on. You're just staying on during that testing period, right? And if you do that successfully, after that 30 days, then you actually will figure out, oh, this is the budget that I should expect to spend on a rolling basis after optimizing that data set, right? And that's going to really give you a solid idea of what your budget is actually going to be. But ahead of time, because you don't have any data, each individual seller's margins and things are different, you're going to have to do a little bit of calculating.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much for your answers. And if you want to say something else, you're more than welcome. It's your last chance to say it.
No, this is wonderful. I am looking forward to talking to more people at our Sail and Scale Summit. I'm hoping that you're going to be there as well, Izabella. That's happening in September, end of September, I believe. In
September 20 to 22, 2022.
Yes, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to be doing a live AMA session. So I have a monthly Tacos Tuesday that I do, which stands for Total ACOS, not just the food tacos.
We can do the tacos there.
I'd be doing tacos there too. Yeah,
Zumba, like a little.
We might be doing tacos. So we're talking about that right now. So that Tuesday during our conference, I'll be doing something live. And so people that are watching that might be there, looking forward to talking to everyone in real life.
Okay, can't wait to give you a hug.
Wonderful. You too.
Okay, thank you for joining me today. And guys, if you're ready to sign up for Adtomic, please go under this video and you'll find the link to sign up with the bellow10 coupon code, of course. And it's a lifetime discount for everybody. Vince, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love you so much, and a lot of hugs.
Love you too.
I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.